Hey guys, I am back today with another tutorial and I'm going to be doing some tool shaker cards. I saw this tutorial on Jennifer McGuire's YouTube channel and I really liked making tool shakers more than regular shakers that I've made in the past with plastic or acetate. You use less materials, the card lays a lot flatter, it was less messy, I used less adhesive. The process was just really so much easier doing it with tulle. So to make my card base, I just used regular cardstock and I cut it in half and then scored those pieces in half, and that gave me a card base of 5.5 by 4.25, and then I trimmed down that 4-inch side. I trimmed off a quarter, leaving my card base to be 4 inches by 5.5. And then the front piece, which could be a piece of cardstock here, this is actually a gift bag that I trimmed down. I really liked the water pattern on it. I trimmed that down to 3 3/4 by 5 1/4 to give me a little bit of a border around once I stick it to my card base. Now for your shaker window, the next time I'll probably use my silhouette for this when I make several of them at once, and you could use, some steel rule dies if you have those, which might even be easier. But for this project, and just because it was a few cards, I used a circle tag that I had in my stash and just traced around it and cut it out with my X-Acto knife. And then I laid the front of my card onto the card base to kind of figure out where the placement would be of that circle on the card base and that they would match up later. And then I traced that onto the card base, cut that out, and then erased any kind of pencil marks that were left. So this tool I got from Tuesday Morning, but you can get it from Hobby Lobby with a coupon. I think a lot of times it ends up being like $1, $1.50, $2, incredibly cheap, and a little bit goes a long way. And you just want to make sure that you have enough to cover your shaker window and to stretch past that and stick to any adhesive that you're going to be putting onto your paper. So for the front part of your card, you want to stick it to the back of the shaker window. And for the card base itself, you want to stick it to the front of the shaker window. And then place your tool on there and press it into the dry adhesive. I recommend doing this. It's much easier and it sticks a lot faster and stays in place than if you use wet adhesive, but I will use wet adhesive in a moment. Trim off any excess tool that you have, and then you want to place your sequin mix onto the tool on your card base. Now I made a mistake here. I started placing it on the back of my card front, and I had to actually pour it over onto the card base, and sequins went everywhere. I have little tiny iridescent stars, and I had to kind of dig them out of the adhesive on the back of my card front. So don't make the same mistake I did. But once you've got your sequin mix sitting on the tool of your card base, cover the back of your card front in wet adhesive. I use Aleene's Tacky Glue. It worked really well. It adheres pretty quickly and dries pretty quickly. There was a little bit of warping in the beginning, but as the card dried, you couldn't tell. I went around my window and then all over the card, and then you want to line up the card front onto your card base. And that's it. So I'm going to turn it over to some music now while I show you guys how I decorate these. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope this inspires you to make some shaker cards yourself. See you next time.